Testing, testing. All right. Um. Hey, Drew. Nice to see you here. Just giving a little bit, see if anyone else shows up. All right. I guess we'll go and get started. Hello everyone. Welcome to our next Disney watch along. Today we'll be looking at a very special film from, I'm sure, for most of us from our childhood, and that, of course, is the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh from 1977. The film that essentially started a franchise for Disney. Even though technically this is just a compilation of shorts that aired before this film came out, but I guess they decided to repackage it as one feature length film. Um, yeah, like a lot of people who grew up growing up, I did grow up with the Winnie the Pooh franchise. Whether it be it this movie or several of the other films like The Search for Christopher Robin or the Tigger movie or Piglet's Big Movie. I remember watching the TV show The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, as well as The Book of Pooh. If y'all remember that, it was like a puppet show sort of thing. But yeah, it was a huge part for a lot of people's childhoods, and it was very big for Disney. So considering that this and later on in 2011 they'll make Winnie the Pooh. But yeah. So without being said, I already got the movie in. Let me just go ahead and turn this on. Okay. We'll just go ahead and get this started. Hello, Anita. The one that gave Walt an Oscar for poster. I'm assuming you mean the when it was just one of the shorts. All right. All right. Uh, Three, two, one, and go. We're starting now, so okay. We're starting now. Yeah, hey Anita. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Disney's 22nd film. Yep. So we're starting the movie now. So I just want to point out, by the way, I have a question why this Blu-ray is so thick. It isn't until I recently found recently that I remind myself. Apparently, this Blu-ray came with a kite. Just thought that was interesting to point out. Hey, Don Bluth, one of the animators for this film. I know that name. I know that person. Well, I mean, not personally, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I thought the music lyrics by the Sherman Brothers. Yep. So yeah, I figured the voice sounds yeah, that's clearly Bagheera's voice. Yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes easy to forget Don Bluth did help have a hand in some of these like because I know he also helped with like the Rescuers and Pete's Dragon. Yes, director. Yes, and Fox and the Hound. Eeyore's gloomy place. What a name. So I've heard somewhere that I don't know if this is just a theory or if it is confirmed by some psychologist, but I think each of these characters are meant to represent certain aspects of Christopher Robin's personality, I guess. At least I've heard something like that before. Yeah, I just want I've heard something like that's like a film theory or something. I also heard that if I remember correctly, the Disney's take on Winnie the Pooh isn't even the first film adaptation of the books. Apparently, there was an animated film adaptation from Russia. I think. Again, I could be wrong, but I heard something like that. This has got to be Stone Holloway's most iconic vocal performance of all the characters from Disney he voiced. Yeah, Russian Pooh. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, might have to look into that. Well, yeah, late in the later like movies and TV shows, Pooh would be voiced by Jim Cummings, but I mean this in this earlier film, it's Sterling Holloway, the same voice of Ka and Mr. Stork and Roquefort. You sometimes forget these characters are stuffed animals. I don't know. I mean, it should be obvious because we saw Christopher Robin's room. Yes, I'm the Cheshire Cat. But like I said, each of these, this movie really is just a compilation of the previous theatrical release shorts because Pooh and the Honey Tree, Pooh and the Blustery Day, and Pooh Winnie the Pooh and Tigger too. So I guess the way you could also count this as a package film. Yeah, yeah. Don't get me started on the Pooh's Adventure stuff. That's just a wild rabbit hole to get into. I know, right? The original, yeah, just like yeah, just like Fantasia, the Fantasia movies and the package films of the '40s. Yeah, it's easy to forget that Pooh and his friends were like the earliest examples of breaking the fourth wall. Well, not the earliest, because I mean, cartoon characters have been breaking the fourth wall since their early days. Yeah, yeah, I know. Rap is voiced by the actor who voiced Archimedes. And did it ever occur to anyone that with some of these trees, they're able to carve into the tree to make a house? Like, how do you manage to pull that off? Apparently voiced by the late John Felder. That's interesting. I guess yeah, because this is an enchanted forest or whatever you want to call it. Then again, this is a world made up by Christopher Robin, so I guess you have to look into that perspective. This is all from the perspective of a child. Pooh must be incredibly light if a balloon can just carry him. Yeah, I could kind of hear Mowgli's voice in Christopher Robin. Yeah, right. So wait, so he's too heavy to stand on a branch, yet a balloon can lift him. If these are stories made up, Christopher Robin, I think he needs to work on some consistencies. And now you made the bees mad, Pooh, because of course you did. Yeah, I stated earlier that I know Pooh has had several spin-offs later on, the '90s and the 2000s. It's been a while since I've seen the show, so yeah, I never saw the 2018 Christopher Robin film. I've heard it was okay. Like I've heard mixed things about it. Personally, I don't get why they couldn't just make an animated film of that story, especially given Pooh and his friends look a little off. Yeah, Pooh and Christopher Robin would be in serious trouble if these were Africanized honeybees, aka the killer bees. Yeah, bees being stung by bees. Wasps are worse. It's wasps are way more painful. I mean, I've heard. I mean, I guess in terms of the live action remakes, even though Chris Robin really isn't a live action remake, it's just more of a sequel ish kind of thing. You know, apparently, this is a recurring thing with you, Rabbit. If he's reacting that way, the funny thing about Rabbit is he's kind of like Squidward, in that he's one of those characters you find yourself relating to as you get older. Like when you become an adult, you look back on it's like I find myself relating to them more. Rabbit voiced by Kenson and Tom Kenny. Funny because I just mentioned Squidward, so that's interesting. Why does Rabbit have so many honey jars? Like he doesn't eat honey, does he? Unless he uses it for like for some of his meals. I mean, yeah. How does Rabbit get all this honey? Like, does he like raid the bee's nest? Yeah, yeah. I know Tom Kenny is the voice of SpongeBob. By the way, speaking of the Chris Robin movie, yeah, right. Then he's the back door. Um, so it's established that some of these characters are stuffed animals, but if I remember correctly, in the Chris Robin movie, it shows that both Owl and Rabbit are real animals. Is that the case? And there's Gopher. Yeah, yeah, I know. Hal Smith did the voice of Owl. Interesting enough, if I remember correctly, Hal Smith would also later do the voice of Gyro Gearloose in DuckTales. Schedule. I love the Brits and how they pronounce certain words. Okay, that's what you meant, Drew, when you said not in the book. I think you may have said that too earlier or something. So, so again, I guess that's also fourth wall breaking because Gopher's not in the original book. Fourth wall, yeah, I know fourth wall breakings. Yeah, I know you mentioned Philippe and Mo from American Tail. It seems everyone used that quote of Eeyore. It's just can we just all acknowledge that Rabbit, like, can we just all acknowledge that Rabbit is essentially decorating Pooh's ass? Just saying. Quite a interesting way of wording it, narrator. Yeah, that's a good point. Rabbit never really invited Pooh. He just kind of came in himself. Since when do gophers eat honey? Gopher. And I asked that same question earlier. Since when do rabbits eat honey? Yeah, Paul Winchell, yeah, voice Tigger and Sean Gunn and Boomer. Yep. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they just reused animation, the voice, from the beaver from Land Tramp for Gopher. Yeah, that's not going to do anything, Rue. Reuse animation from Land Tramp. Yeah, yeah. I figured that is the same actor who did Harvey Jr. for Rue. Yeah, that's the other one with Clear Hive. If Pooh ends up getting too fat to get out of that hole in the tree, clearly they have carving tools to carve into a tree, given they can make homes. So that's the end of story one. So now we're in the blustery day section of the film. Yeah, Kanga's voiced by Lady and Merriweather. Yep. Yeah, reuse the animation from Sword in the Stone. Yeah. I forgot how much fourth wall breaking there is in this film, but I guess that's a common thing throughout the franchise. Yeah, it is kind of part of the charm of these stories. What do you mean Pooh's merchandise selling is so big? It hasn't always been big. Like, ever since he became part one of Disney's most iconic characters. You don't you hate when that prom I've had those times before where I forget what I'm supposed to do and have a hard time remembering. Piglet, I don't think that's what it's short for. There's a part of the sign missing. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Pooh and his friends are some of the most beloved characters in Disney's lineup. I mean, who knows how strong? I can think we can at least admit that physics in this universe is a little borked. The first time we see Eeyore's house get destroyed. How that's very helpful, right? I know, right? I always felt bad for Eeyore whenever his house gets destroyed. Like, so 2011 is when it only counts in the US, but not in the UK, huh? Yeah, we'll be counted for this watch along. So Peter Cullen, as in the original voice of Optimus Prime. Yeah, Wednesday was yesterday, so probably bad time on my part to watch this. And Brad Garrett, you know. And there goes Owl's Treehouse. Yeah, that's got to be a strong win if it is, but or either that or Owl's Tree is like rotten dead or something. I don't know. And late Bub Lucky, yeah. Oh, come on, Owl. Pooh's not that heavy. I know, right? Because we'll see his treehouse again in the later movies and show. Jim Meskimen from the Once Upon a Studio. Jesus, a long time. How old you? Yeah, just run and don't look back once Al starts talking. Like from page what 40? What did he say? 41 to 60 something. Like that's jeez, that's a long time of yapping. Watch out, Pooh is loaded. I forgot the original. I mean, yeah, it's one of those guns with the cork in it, but still, it's those pop guns. It's still funny to imagine. And we finally meet Tigger, everyone's favorite character. What's with Andre Stolchuk and Craig Ferguson? Well, I know Tigger would later be voiced by Jim Cummings, but he's voiced by someone else in this original. His name escapes me, but I guess because they used the mirror in the last story. T- Tigger has short term. I guess he does short term memory loss or Buddy Becker did the music from Foxhound. So yeah, this is our first intro to the concept of Heffalumps and Woozles in this franchise. Yeah, bless your day and rainy day. Yeah, don't worry. At least one of those are actually nice. Yep. Yeah, that explains how Pooh sees mirrors. And now we get Probably the scene a lot of people remember the most of this movie because of how trippy it is. Like everyone always talks about the pink elephant from Dumbo, but does anyone ever would talk about how trippy the heffalumps and woozles of this segment of this film is? Welcome to Bahia. At least the one main difference is this, unlike in Dumbo, where it was Dumbo getting drunk. Here, it's just a dream that Pooh's having. So yeah, I remember Pooh's Heffalump movie where the Heffalumps are actually nice. Yeah, I do remember. Even as a kid, I noticed they reused some scenes from Dumbo for this part of the film. Like this part particular. Why shouldn't eat before bed, Pooh? All right. Sorry, that was just my dad talking to me. He was just leaving to go to work. Yeah, this scene is definitely very trippy. Swore that flying elf was green before. I don't know. Maybe he had a poor quality VHS or something or TV. And now your house is flooded. Okay, there's yeah, flash flood. Okay, there's like a fine line between uh, like rain and all this, and then are you sure this isn't just Noah's flood? Yeah, Peggle. That totally explains everything in the message. Yeah, Peggle, you're not really helping yourself. Yeah, how does his house survive this? And considering that their houses are really trees that are carved in, like, you think that would somehow, like, cause the trees to fall down? I mean, Owl's house fell down just by wind, so yeah, Noah's Flood from Fantasia 2000. Yeah, that one wasn't even I know, right? Yeah, Tigger someone already knows everyone. So I guess in this some version, Chris Robin just lives in a little house because I remember in the TV show he would have an actual home. So, but then again, this is just a story made from a child. So I know there's the Flashman the Piglet movie. Yeah, I haven't seen Piglet's Big Movie in a long time. So Owl, can you like not? Yeah, I know, right? Waterfalls don't kill the good guys for some reason. Where did that waterfall even come from? Like, I get that the 100 acre was flooded, but like they somehow formed a waterfall. Made up by a child, so I guess you shouldn't question that. Jungle Book 2, yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing both Jungle Book 2 and Piglet's Big Movie in theaters that year. Failed successfully. Okay. You're really Yeah, I know, right? Owl can't even fit through the door. Like, did you not stop to think about that? Yeah, where the heck is the O? Where's the O? Shows the O, Eeyore. I mean, not need to worry. They'll just I'm guessing the later projects, Owl will get his treehouse back and Piglet will get his house back. Continuity. Yeah, 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 I saw your comment earlier about Jungle Book 2, so I know, right? Like everything must have dried up fast despite how much water there was. Yeah, don't say bouncing. You know, the birthday party. And now we have the third and final story in this film, which is all on Tigger. Yeah, I do remember the Tigger movie, and I actually remember that one being pretty solid film. Yeah, aren't most of the Citizen of Hunter Wood is stuff? Yeah, I know it came out in 2000, so and I guess here it begins the kind of sort of rivalry between Tigger and Rabbit. Yeah, right. How do you ruin the whole garden with just one bounce? I mean, clearly he only protest meeting today. Yeah, Rabbit's just one of those characters who just fed up with everything. So I think that's why we relate to him so much as we get older. Yeah, meme origin.
Have you tried removing his tail? I don't think it's like Eeyore where you can just easily remove the tail. So I think you have to rip it off, and yeah. It's been forever since I watched the show, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. But wasn't there an episode where Tigger loses his bounce? I remember the one where he loses his stripes, but like Kath Susie would later voice Kanga. Blokes. Yeah, who knew Tigger was British because he used the term bloke? That's usually a British term. So, although to be fair, wasn't Winnie the Pooh originally a British story? So, like that's where the book originated from. So, I guess it makes a little more sense. Yeah, yeah. I kind of figured Winnie the Pooh was a British franchise. So, he has a conventionally placed pet, and they never saw him again. Yep. Yeah, I know the shorts were made in the '60s, and they just made this movie just to combine the shorts together. The Pooh just roast rabbit. I guess so. I know. It's just life's been real busy for me and a lot of other stuff. My plan is to hopefully get round two, at least round two, part one out sometime this year. Yeah, I know you said that about the Pooh shorts already, that they were made in the 60s. Yeah, Rabbit is losing it. Yeah, the one that worse than Tigger's frogs. Yeah, yeah, not nearly as terrifying as the Dark Forest from Snow White. And here, this introduces the kind of brotherly bond between Tigger and Rue. Yep. I guess it makes sense Tigger would be best friends with Rue, considering, well, they're kangaroos, so of course he would be friends with them. It was fresh snow. Snowy, snowy day. Well, yeah, Tigger probably does act the most immature out of the entire group. So there happens to be an icy lake right in front of Rabbit's house. Okay. House destroyed yet again. But you almost bounce out of the book. Paul Winchell voice of Gargamel and Dick Destiny. Yeah, can't. I mean, yeah, yeah. I said Dick Dashley, didn't I? Can't blame Tigger. Go for. I mean, you know what they say about cats is that they're good at climbing up, but they're not good at climbing down. Unless it's a clouded leopard, which in case they're really good at climbing down trees. Yeah, the fear of acrophobia is a very common fear. I mean, I have it myself. I just not a fan of high heights. You know, for, I mean, Pooh's not completely wrong about jaguars. They will jump on their prey. I mean, yeah, no, not too far off. Yeah, cat. It's not so much cats are afraid of heights; it's that they're just not good about going down. Why not get Owl and have him like carry them both down? Dude, it's going to hurt. Must went south. I don't think owls migrate. Kanga, how do you prevent yourself from falling too fast? Like, okay, don't know why. Yeah, no, Disney released 2 films in 1977, so I know, right? Well, 1942, Disney released 2 films. It was when we get out of the prom, just have the narrator solve it. Being a little harsh there, aren't you, Rabbit? Like, I get it, like, you're annoyed about his bouncing, but maybe you could come up with some kinda compromise with him? You ever use animation from the Jungle Book? I mean, he wasn't writing, it doesn't count. Yeah, true, he like, Tigger never wrote anything down. Yeah, now's not the time to not to be a jerk, Rabbit. That seems to be Rabbit's thing, like, I mean, Rabbit, you're well, a rabbit. You should know about bouncing yourself. This ending. Or Skull. Yeah, I know, right? This ending, though, it's surprisingly kinda heavy when you look back and as an adult. Very Odd Parents, I highly doubt it. Again, yeah. Yeah, ending is a bit like Toy Story 3. Mm. The end. So yes, that was the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and it's just a very delightful little movie. Like it's just a simple story about a kid and all his animal friends in the forest. But yeah, that ending, it definitely has more meaning to it when you look back at it as an adult. I mean, really, it's the one big enemy for a child is just growing up and life changing. But yeah, great movie all around. Definitely glad to revisit it. Like I know a lot of people aren't when people talk about their favorite Disney films, they're always talking about the more grander films, but which I like those too. But I also find comfort in watching these more smaller, simpler stories. They make really good comfort movies. But yeah, that's gonna be all for now. Next time we'll be looking at the other film that Disney released in 1977, The Rescuers, which that should be a fun one to revisit. Um, so yeah, I hope y'all enjoy this, and I'll see y'all in the. I guess I'll see y'all in the next watch on. So see y'all then.